Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by my vivacious co-host, Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you? Vivacious.
Vivacious.
I just want to say that word.
It's
vivacious.
Like Greek and Latin root time from middle school. I'm like, viv. Full of life. I don't know if it's Greek or Latin. We had to do these like spelling tests called word clues in my middle school, where they like had all these Greek and Latin roots listed as prefixes, and then it was like 15 spelling words, but it was like murder because you had to break apart each of those spelling words into the roots, say what the roots meant, write the definition, and write the sentence. And every week to do that. And it was just like bane of my existence.
Yeah, I remember that story you've told about the whole fifth grade spelling packet. I think that might have brought back some triggers there.
That might have brought back some triggers. Yeah. Maybe that's why I reacted so strongly to spelling packet. It's because I remembered word clues.
No, Judy, I would not like it. I'd be unhappy.
Yeah, exactly. So today we have a second timer on the podcast today. We were just talking about the Second Time Club, and you said something about SNL, and I had no idea what you were talking about.
Okay, so for those of you that are older, I don't know if you remember like back in the, I don't know if it's 80s or 90s, but SNL used to have these skits when they would have the hosts on that had hosted a few times. Like Steve Martin was one. I think Alec Baldwin was one. They had a bunch of people, and they were called it like the 4-Timers Club, the 5-Timers Club, and they had smoking jackets, and they had the special room, like the frequent flyer lounges, nice, and they laugh at the people that hadn't been. So I just thought it was cute. I'm like, we need to make a 2-Timers Club because now we're getting a couple of 2-Timers.
We have 2-Timers. Michele Borba is one of those 2-Timers.
It's like we've made it.
That sounds bad though, 2-timer.
No, well, okay. Second timers?
Second timer club.
Repeat.
Because she's not a 2-timer. She's a second timer.
Awesome repeat guess. So yeah, something like that. It just made me think of that. I don't know. Bree's brain is shiny object syndrome. We've had this conversation.
It's all good.
You say one thing and I go down a rabbit hole for another.
But Dr. Michele Borba, she's an educational psychologist, the author of 25 books, Bree.
I know. I don't know how she has time to do anything else. Seriously.
Including her most recent book coming out very soon, Thrivers, The Surprising Reasons Why Some Kids Struggle and Others Shine. She's a Today Show parenting contributor and the mom of 3 boys. She's from Northern California, but right now she lives in Palm Springs. So I hope you enjoy our interview with Dr. Michele Borba. This episode is brought to you by the drama-free homework checklist. Oh my gosh, if you are just looking for something to get your kids to do their homework without like the fight and without the struggle, you need our free checklist. You can go download it at www.noguiltmom.com/DFH-checklist. And you can also find a link in our show notes. And now, on with the show.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast, Michele. We're so happy to have you here. Like, you are one of our favorite guests because we have so much fun with you.
And likewise, I just so enjoy you guys. This is so fun. Thank you.
So for those of our audience who doesn't know who you are, can you briefly tell us like who you are and what you do?
I'm an educational psychologist, but also I'm a mom of 3. But I get the greatest job in the whole wide world in that I get to fly all over the world and speak to parents. And I've spoken to about 1 million of them. And no matter where I go, everybody's on board with how do I raise the good kid and what are we going to do now with this pandemic? It's just, we are so far more alike than different.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the comfort there. Like there's so much going on in the world that makes us feel like we're so different. But really, when it comes down to it, we're all parents trying to do what's best to raise the best kids possible.
We are so excited about your book coming out, Thrivers.
I know. I loved Unselfie.
We loved Unselfie so much, and we cannot wait to read Thrivers.
I'll get my fan club. I'm going to hire you guys as my PR. Thank you.
We will. We'll be like, yes.
Yeah.
We'll post pictures when it comes out. But so in the book, you use the term thrivers to describe kids who have the skills and abilities to do well in the real world. So how do you define a thriver?
Oh, he's a ready for life kind of a kid. He's one of those child that when he faces kind of a challenge or adversity, he's got, I got this kind of a mentality. But the most important thing about a thriver I discovered, and this is like it's not genetic. It's not a program. Thrivers are made, not born. And what I discovered is that there's a combination of skills, not knowledge. But if we teach these little skills along the way, and we've got plenty of time, this is a parenting plan from birth until when they finally leave us, we can help our kids go out there in the real life ready for it.
I love what you said that they're made, not born, because that really makes it seem achievable for us as parents to give our kids the skills they need to become thrivers.
Right. Because I think a lot of times we get stuck in that whole, my kid is a shy kid. They were born a shy kid, or we kind of sort of put them in that little box. And really, there's so much potential. There's so many things that they can do.
One of the things that we discovered about them, I was so fascinated for actually my entire career on what creates a thriver or the resilient kind of a child, that I combed the science, and there's phenomenal science about it. But the most important combination of all these studies, I mean, they've been studying the same kids for 40 years who were dealt with adversity, but despite it all, 1/3 of them came out caring, competent, and confident. 2 things. And these are the 2 things we got to remember. Number one, they always have a protective person in their life, that parent, and if not the parent, it's a teacher who is the champion, who refuses to give up that child. That's the first lesson. Don't give up on the kid. But the second thing is they've learned protective buffers, or just kind of like an armor, those skills along the way. And so when push comes to shove, they can brush themselves off and keep on going because they have the skills of a thriver.
Okay, so what you said with protective buffers, I'm immediately reminded of like boundaries that people have as well. Is that kind of similar, like boundaries and protective buffers in kids?
Well, boundaries in that, yes, if the kid has a boundary, because one of I identified 7 traits that seem to be the most highly correlated. All of them had to be teachable, and all of them breathe parents. These same 7 help your child in a classroom become a peak performer, as well as become resilient and in life. So it's not either or, it's both. And one of the things is integrity. Number 3 along the way, these are kids who do know what they stand for. So when push comes to shove, you've instilled in them their values. I don't care what the values are, but you've instilled in them. So when they're faced with a conflict, they don't have to waver it. They're going, nope, that's who I am. I'm going this way, and no to that, thank you. And you've also taught them assertive skills. So they hold up their head and can say to the kid, nope, that's not me. Some kind of assertive lines, which seem to be critically powerful, not in the heat of the moment. They never listen to you in the heat of the moment because they can't.
Right.
Nope.
But
Right.
you got that one. Just like we don't think in the heat of the moment. But if you can say, okay, here's my new parenting plan. I'm going to figure out what kind of skills my child needs. Thriver's going to give you the 21 most important skills, and it'll give you 300 practical ways to teach them. Don't you dare do all of those, or your kid will never let you read another book. But figure out the ones that work for you based on the age of your kid, because they're all set up age by age.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM. We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Bree, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes, Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week, featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
And then maybe the first one is when faced with a problem, start figuring out what you stand for. Come up with your home mantra. And then teach calm, CALM. Anytime you're faced with a problem, stay cool, because if you look upset, that bully's going to win. A is, let's practice some assertive comeback lines. And it can be for a shy kid, nothing more than a hand signal that says no. You don't even have to say anything. Or it could be, I don't want to, or that's not cool. But the two things that sound to be critical for an assertive kid is L, look the kid in the eye, meaning don't put your head down or you're going to look like you don't mean it. And make your voice M strong like you do mean it. So stay cool, be assertive. L, look them in the eye and sound like you mean it. And you've got an assertive kid. Is that going to happen tomorrow? Nope. So you keep working on that until your kid finally has it. In fact, you can start with C when they're 3. You can do 4-year-olds. Always look at the color of the talker's eyes. If they're shy, then right at the dot between their nose or at the back behind their head, because some kids, that's threatening to look at their eyes. But the amazing thing is that actually helps your child learn strong body language. Holding your head up makes you look more confident. Holding your head down makes you look wimpy. In fact, you can teach that to a child. Look at me. I'm holding my head up. Now look at me. Which one do you think that your friend is going to buy into? Yeah, holding my head up. So here's the trick. Look at the color of the talker's eyes, and it'll make your whole body look more comfortable and confident.
I love how simple and straightforward those are. And you know me, I love a good acronym.
Yes, it's easy
calm
to
is
remember.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
you mentioned integrity. I heard you mention self-control, like the cool and calm down. What are some other character strengths that set thrivers apart?
Well, number one is self-understanding. They know who they are. They know their strengths. So the first thing about a real thriver is you've got to parent the kid based on who they are, not on what you want them to be. So the first thing you do in Thrivers is go to the introduction, and it'll give you a simple little quiz to figure out your kid's strengths. Once you know their strengths, don't focus on their weaknesses. Start aiming for their strengths. And there's where you begin, because that's what's going to boost their confidence. Number two is empathy. Thrivers think we, not me. So we do know that resilient children have social competence. When push comes to shove, they resort to people, not things. And a result, it keeps their resilience booming. Third is self-control. They're able to put the brakes on. Fourth is integrity, so they can know what they stand for. But fifth, I loved, and I didn't realize the correlation to this, they're curious. Thrivers are more open-minded to ideas and people. And why that helps them thrive is when a problem comes up, they're not stumped by it. They figure out, okay, how am I going to get around it? And that's what you want your child to do, is develop a little turnaround plan. So the secret on that one is, anytime from this moment on, Mom, there is a problem, do not solve it for them. Instead, go, whoa, what's the problem? Name it. Now, let's start brainstorming. With little kids, you use a pocket problem solver, which is your hand. You pull your hand up and you go, thumbkin, what's the problem? Name it. Doesn't work for a teen, but it works for a 4-year-old. Now,
teens would just roll their eyes.
Exactly. Pointer, middleman, and ringman. What are 3 things you could have done differently? Now, keep a poker face, because some of the ideas they come up with are off the chart. But what's one idea? And then pinky is, from all the ideas, what's the one you're going to do right this minute? That's your turnaround plan. Now, if you teach that at 3, 4, and 5, you don't do that when they're 13, 14, and 15, but you've been practicing enough. So all you need to say is, so what are you going to do instead? Because you've been teaching them brainstorming. They're curious, they're open, they're critical thinking. The 6th one is perseverance. They don't need gold stars. They keep on going. And a persevering kid is a thriver because they're not stumped. They go, I got this. I'm going to keep on moving. And the 7th one is the one every kid and adult in the world needs right now, is optimism. They have a more hopeful outlook. They have a silver lining. They find it. And because they stop the negativity by figuring out, okay, this is just temporary, not permanent. So what am I going to do differently the next time? You put all those together. Now, here's the other final thing, and then we can talk forever on what to do tomorrow. But the final thing I discovered, because every mother's going to say, so which one's the most important? None of them are the most important. You figure out your child's strength, and then keep adding others, because every thriver's strength multiplies its power when you add them together. What we've been doing is just teaching one, and we've discovered the combination of, think about it, empathy plus curiosity. Oh my gosh, you've got a kid who's a change maker. Any of them together is more powerful than one. Self-control plus perseverance, that kid's going to keep on moving. He's not going to be derailed from it. So keep moving with it, and that's how we raise up a generation who thrive.
That is amazing. You have given us so much right in those past 2 minutes. One of the things I do want to review with you just to make sure I got it right, because I think it was so powerful with the hand. So when kids are curious, you first define the problem, and then the 3 middle fingers, you have the 3 possible solutions, and then you pick one. I think that's such a great and easy problem solving strategy to teach.
And I love the fact that it's a visual aid right there. They can look at it. And then 2, you also have the factor that it brings in their body, which helps them retain that information even more, because kinetically they're moving.
Yes. Here's the other thing that's really cool that I discovered, because I was a teacher for years. When I teach these little acronyms, they'd always say, I can't remember those 5 steps. Just make it into a word like calm, or give me a pocket problem solver. Our goal as moms is to teach the skill and do it over and over and over and over and over until they finally do it without you. But they can carry that pocket problem solver with them forever. All they have to do is remember, it's in my pocket. Just pull it out. What am I going to do? And they've got it. But later on, they don't need their hand, obviously. They just realize, storm my brain of possibilities. It's in there. I just have to keep storming it.
Yes. And I think that's such a valuable lesson for kids, because I know that one thing that you say in Thrivers is that when kids have these skills, it helps safeguard against the anxiety and the depression that so many people feel.
Well, here's what we know. And this is why we're all so burned out and anxious. Uncertainty builds stress and anxiety. Certainty or control reduces it. So one of the things that resilience theory is discovering about why these skills are so critical is they help kids develop agency or control. That's why a thriver says, I got this, because they have the skill to go, okay, well, I know there's a problem, but here's what I'll do instead. or here's my turnaround plan, or, oh my gosh, I'm getting so stressed because I know what my signs are. So I'm going to take that slow, deep breath. They know what to do instead. And that is maybe what we've been failing to do, is help them learn that there is an option. Here's how to help yourself. You choose which one works for you, to the kid, particularly to a teen, because they'll say, you got to give us a repertoire of options. That mindfulness works for some kids, but it doesn't work for me. So give them possibilities. Exactly. You figure out what works for each of your kids in your family, or as well as your partner. And as a result, what you'll do is have your whole family being able to thrive. And by the way, part 2, best way to teach these skills is as a family, not just pointing out the kid who needs it. If you all do it together, kids are looking at one another. And the best way to teach any skill is showing it, not telling it.
Yes,
Right.
Totally agree. We are big fans of family meetings here at No Guilt Mom.
Yep. And of course, the importance of modeling it, because they're not going to pick it up if you're not modeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So here's another idea. Go through Thrivers, look at all the ideas and say to yourself, not which one does my kid need, which one do I need? And then what you do is practice the skill yourself, but help your child learn to practice. I'm really frustrated these days. Can you help me learn this 1 + 2 breathing? And what you'll actually be doing is your kid becomes your little monitor. And as a result, he doesn't realize he's the one that's supposed to be learning it, not just you.
Exactly.
I love that trick. I use that trick a lot. Yeah. I did it with my daughter in the car yesterday because I'm concerned about her screen time. So I was like, I'm concerned about my own screen time. What do you suggest I do?
Perfect.
And she gave some good suggestions.
Yeah.
And you were like, wow, okay, put them in the pocket to bring up later.
Here's another one that's really fun. We do know that all of these Thriver skills need to become a habit. So it doesn't work the first time. You got to keep doing it over and over again. And we also know that if you've set up a regular time to do it each day, and I'm talking 1 minute, so this isn't going to take you a whole bunch of time. 1 minute, you're going to be more likely to help you get it.
If you could give parents one piece of advice in raising kids who thrive, what would it be?
The most important thing is that we have to reset our parenting. It's an uncertain world out there. If not a pandemic, who knows what's going to come down the pike. But it also means that kids need knowledge, but also the skills of resilience. And if we do that, we're far more likely to raise up a strong generation of kids who can make it and thrive without us. Isn't that what parenting's all about?
It's totally what parenting is all about. So, Michele, you've given us so many favorite hacks to I think all of these really make kids more self-sufficient. So what's coming up for you that you're excited about?
My book. This is the one for, yay! For 40 years, I've been working on this. I finally figured it out. I wrote 25 other books in the meantime, but this was the one that was most pressing. And I don't think this is the timing. I'm talking about urgency. It's called Thrivers, The Surprising Reasons Why Some Kids Struggle and Others Shine. It's on sale March 2nd, and it's coming out in audio, digital, and hardback form. So let's just start talking about how we raise up a resilient population of kids.
Yes. I'm so excited about it too, because like you just said, the timing couldn't be more perfect. This is something that we all are desperately seeking right now.
Most definitely. Well, thank you, Michele, so much for coming on the podcast. We love always talking to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Hey, Aubrey here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org. So, Michele, okay, first of all, that was a hard interview for us because, guys, we struggled with the internet on that interview. And it was one of those situations where I was about to throw the laptop out of the window.
Oh, I know. Like there were tears about ready to come out. But I do have to say this. Michele is genuine and authentic and is a very, very kind and patient person.
She's so kind and patient.
I think we got dropped at least 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times.
We had to stop and restart that interview. And I don't just mean like us taking a pause, guys. I mean like completely got disconnected. She would text us, "Where are you guys?" And we're like, "We're trying to bring it back up."
And it was me like rebooting the modem downstairs, and I was on the phone with our internet company. And oh my gosh, but Michele was so gracious throughout the whole thing. And I am so grateful it was her because I don't know if anyone would have the same patience as she did during that one.
It needed to be a second timer. It needed to be someone who...
It needed to be a second timer.
We had that relationship with.
A second timer.
But I mean, I think it speaks to her work that she does in empathy and in resilience. She was just like, hey, no worries. We'll make this work. We'll keep going. And she also was so enthusiastic to get her message out to parents.
Yes.
That it made it work. So guys, that was a love and hate episode.
Yes, like we love talking to Michele, but oh my gosh,
hate the tech.
I think you have such a good point about how that really says a lot about empathy because like you don't know what other people are going through and how like much of a struggle they have. So it's always in your best interest to be kind.
Right.
And like grateful. And it's just like seeing that example set forth is amazing. And her book sounds amazing. Like I cannot wait to read it.
Right. We just got it today. So we are so excited to read it today. Like woo, woo, woo. But highly, highly recommend you guys go out there, get Thrivers. We did have her Unselfie book. We read that one before our first interview.
Also amazing.
Loved Unselfie. So have very high expectations for Thrivers. And just from our interview, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing read. Can't wait to get my hands on it. And it's just, yeah. So get out there, people.
Let's get out there. So remember, the best mom's a happy mom. Take care of you, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for stopping by.
Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday, who is pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.